Hello everyone. Today's maths lesson is I can solve problems involving circles. So there is some key language that we're going to learn today and that we'll need to remember. The first one is radius. So radius is from the middle point or center point of a circle to the outside edge. Diameter. Diameter is the line that goes from edge to edge but goes through that center point. That's really important. It is only a diameter if it goes through the center point. The other we're going to learn today is circumference. So the circumference is the length round the outside of a circle. It's sort of like a perimeter of a different type of shape. So our first question is thinking about the radius of a circle. So if Amelia is standing on the centre point and her friends, she's got 3 of them there already, are standing each of them 5 metres away from her, what shape, first of all, would you make if you joined all the friends up? What if you added another friend in who was also 5 metres away? And another, and another, and another. And eventually you will get so that all the friends are in a circle. Every single one of them is 5 metres away from Amelia. So we can say that the radius of that circle is 5 metres. There's a generalization we can make here. The distance from the center of the circle to the edge is called the radius. The diameter of the circle is the distance from edge to edge that goes through the center of the circle. And now this bit's really important. The diameter is double the length of the radius. So we could have a STEM sentence here, couldn't we? If the radius is 5 centimetres, then the diameter is 10 centimetres because the diameter is double the length of the radius. So now another class is going to come and make a circle as well. But this time each child is going to be 6 metres away, but the centre is still at Amelia. So this new class, is their circle going to be bigger or smaller than Amelia's class? It'll be bigger, isn't it? Because 6 metres is bigger than 5 metres. And circles that have the same centre point, they're actually called concentric circles. That's a bit difficult to say. Concentric circles. There's another word for you to remember. Now, on this question, I'm asking you what the diameter is of each of these circles. So I'd like you to draw them out. They don't have to be an accurate measurement. As you can tell from the screen, that first one is not 4 centimetres. I've just estimated it. So you can find round things at home that you could draw round. Can you put on the radius? Remember, it goes from the centre of the circle. And then can you label the diameter? Can you work out, if I've given you the radius of each circle, what would the diameter be? Remember, we've got our STEM sentence down there at the bottom that can help you. So then we've got to think about that other word I gave you at the beginning, the circumference. And this question is asking you, how would Bella find the distance around the edge of her bike's wheel? Now that edge, of course, we now know is called circumference. Well, we could find a piece of string and we could place it round the edge of the wheel and then we could measure the length of that string. Or we could make a mark on the floor and then we could, and on the wheel, and then we could wheel the wheel along until it had been all the way round and then measure the distance that it had travelled. So I've changed our generalisation here. So now we've got the distance from the center of the circle to the edge is called the radius. The diameter of the circle is the distance from edge to edge that goes through the center of the circle. The diameter is double the length of the radius. The circumference is the distance around the outside of the circle. Which is the longest, do you think? The diameter, the radius, or the distance round the edge of the wheel? So remember what the radius is, remember what the diameter is, and then see what you think about which one of those or the circumference is going to be the longest. Now, with this problem, I actually want you to draw 2 circles. You can draw around something at home again, a mug or a glass or a plate, and measure and label the radius and the diameter and the circumference using the methods that we've just talked about. Now in here, Bella has made a dot at the centre of her circle, and then she's just chosen 2 points anywhere on the circumference and turned it into a triangle by joining up all the dots. Now, you need to think back to the work you did earlier in the week. What type of triangle has 2 identical sides and 2 identical angles? Is that the only type of triangle you can make by doing the same thing? So I want you to do your own investigation here. Draw different triangles, at least 5 of them, pop on dots, join them up to make a triangle, and see if all those triangles are the same. So did I say draw triangles? I meant draw circles first. So draw the circles, put your dots in, draw the triangles. Are they always the same type of triangle? Now, this is a bit where it becomes a little bit tricky because I'm introducing a new sign. Can you see that squiggly sign there? That's called pi. Now, pi is just a constant number that always stays the same, and it represents the ratio between the circle's circumference and its diameter. So pi, it goes on forever. It's 3.14 something, 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 something. Very long number. You can look it up and Google it if you're interested. But from our point of view, we always take pi to be equal to 3.14. Or we can write it as a fraction as 22/7. We can actually use pi to help us calculate how long a circumference is. So this means we don't always have to measure it. So we can say that the circumference equals pi times the diameter. Now remember, the diameter is twice the radius, so that means we can also say that the circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. Because of course, you've already learned that 2 lots of the radius equals the diameter. Now, you remember I always say mathematicians are really lazy. So have a look and see how they abbreviate that formula. So instead of writing circumference equals pi times diameter, they do c equals pi d. Or instead of writing out circumference equals 2 times pi times radius, they write c equals 2 pi r. Now, we can use that formula to help us calculate the diameter of a circle. So we don't need to measure it with a piece of string anymore. So if we look at A, remember, C equals pi d means circumference equals pi times the diameter. Can you remember how much I said pi was worth? 3.14. So here we can say that the circumference of the circle is 3.14 times 40. So I would do 3.14 times 4 and then times that by 10. On B, I haven't got the diameter, but I do know what the radius is. And I know that C equals 2 pi r. Can you remember what that means? It means circumference equals 2 times pi times radius, which is 2 times 3.14 times 10. And that will tell us how much the radius is going to be. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, I've added to as them sentence. So we can say if the radius is centimetres, then the diameter is centimetres, because the diameter is the length of the radius. The circumference is because I multiplied pi by the diameter, or by 2 and the radius. So then you go off into your practice books with lots of different questions. Write them out. You do not need to print them off unless you want to. And send all of your answers back to me. If you get stuck today, then Miss Barnett and I are both working from home. And if you put a message and put it in on Teams, we will check Teams throughout the day and we'll contact you back. Okay, have fun and enjoy. Bye.